So some of the things we hear people talking about in the trends are social, local, mobile. So if you like, or social, mobile, local, or SoMo, low. So new buzzwords emerging. But how many people are on the web? There are 2 billion people on the World Wide Web. Okay, so that's 2 billion out of 7. Right? Now we know Google have 1 billion unique views a month at google.com and their associated sites, okay, including all the languages. So we know Google have got a 50% reach. Okay, so there's still half the market that they don't touch, and they're the biggest. Okay, so there's a whole big market there still to touch on the World Wide Web. We know that Facebook have got a 43% reach, so only 7% behind Google. So 43% of the ones that they connect to. So they're probably at sort of 700-800 million users now. And then there's all the languages, which top up the number. Then I think if you look at the number of smartphones, that's very hard data to get, the smartphones, because the numbers I hear that there are now 5 billion cell phones or mobile phones. But I don't know how many of those are smartphones, whether that's 1 billion, 1.5 billion, because that is tipping the number of people who are engaged on the web up to a higher level. And is that an additional person, or is that the same person with additional device? So I would say we're probably talking between 1 and 2 billion people who are now engaged in this mobile, social, webby, appy world. Then we've got the battle between Android and Apple, and then the poor old guys at BlackBerry and Nokia who are trying to keep up with them, and many people think they haven't got a chance, even Microsoft merging with Nokia. So what we're going to do with all of these apps, because the way the app world is going, there's so many apps downloaded now on Android and Apple that eventually they're just going to be able to give the pads away. Give the cell phones away, give the pads, just give them away and just let people pay on pay per app, pay on download. But in people's minds, they're thinking about, how do I do this social thing? How do I do this mobile thing? How do I do this local location thing? And how do I do it all there's a whole developer world emerging there. And I don't think any of us really know what it's going to be, what it's going to look like, but you're going to have to develop everything on Android and everything on Apple, at the very least, everything you do. And you've got to push your brand out through those platforms. So those platforms are going to have kind of like total control of the planet. That's really scary. And a lot of CEOs are going to be dependent on those platforms, and they're going to have a little skim of every single transaction. So those platforms are really software, social, banking, transaction systems underneath. Their standards. And the other guys are thinking, how can I get in on that? Who knows where that's going to go? But we do know it's got to be social. We know it's got to be mobile. And we know it's got to be local. And we've got to have it all in one, and it's got to be a nice little app. Who's going to win that game? None of us know. Apple, Amazon, Google, Facebook, Twitter, none of us know. But there's going to be one big player, because on the internet there is no second place.